So, dear respected Thai, dear Sangha, brothers, sisters, members of the Order of Interbeing aspirants. Today is June 3rd, and we are in the Assembly of Stars Meditation Hall for the first day of our June 21-day retreat that we are all together. I'd like to begin by introducing you to one another, introducing you to the countries from which you have come. We're very fortunate that you have come from 7 continents. We welcome our friend from Argentina, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Botswana, South Africa, Brazil, Canada, Chile, China, Costa Rica, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Holland, Hong Kong, Indonesia. The list also includes the monastics. We're a fourfold Sangha. So we're introducing all of us to one another, the lay practitioners and monastics. Ireland, Northern Ireland, and of course Southern Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Caledonia, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, Singapore, Spain, including the Balearic Islands, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, Thailand, the Ukraine, United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Vietnam. So welcome to all of us. Thank you for coming. We are mindfulness ambassadors at this retreat. You don't have to be a real ambassador, but we know that you'll be bringing the practice back to your countries. And this is a wonderful gift to this planet Earth. The 21-day retreat will be offered by the Fourfold Sangha to all of us. And we'll let you know more about what this will entail. Vulture Peak was a favorite place of the Buddha. And he gave some very wonderful teachings on Gwitakuta Mountain, the Vulture Peak. It is said he gave the deeper teachings on sunyata, emptiness, on Vulture Peak. He traveled widely, but he loved to return to Vulture Peak. And perhaps some of you have been to Vulture Peak, either with Shantam Seth and the pilgrimages he leads in India, or with Thai and the Sangha when they went to Vulture Peak. So it was also a very favorite place of Thai, Shuom. It was a place where the Buddha loved to sit and meditate and to live in the present moment. We know that living in the present moment is a basic practice of Plum Village, which the Buddha taught. Dresta Dharma Sukha Viharin. It's one of the key practices that enables us to connect with our mindfulness energy. And we know that mindfulness now is a word that is part of the collective consciousness, probably almost everywhere In, in the hemisphere where there are practitioners, we know it's the capacity to be present, to be aware, to be in touch with something. We can also say mindfulness is a connection, like the internet. We thought of that the other day. Mindfulness is our internet connection with everything. And if we don't have internet connection, what happens? Everything stops. Communication stops. No messages, no work. We can just sit and breathe. No internet connection. And we feel a little bit isolated if there's no internet connection. We feel alone, maybe a little bit like a separate self. But we know that mindfulness is the energy that does connect us, and it doesn't go down. We have this energy available to us all the time. We don't have to plug in. It's with us as a seed in our consciousness. And in retreats, like the one we are starting today, we'll be able to develop, cultivate, and recharge our capacity to be mindful. We share this energy with one another, so it's a collective experience. Your mindful breathing, your calmness, your peace, it radiates like the sunshine. And my practice also helps everyone. So there's an interbeing nature of this collective energy of mindfulness. We offer to everyone and we receive at the same time. You've probably heard during the orientation the two basic practices of mindfulness that we do in our tradition, the Plum village. The two basic practices are mindful breathing. And Thai has given us the source sutra of the Anapanasati Sutra, which is our guide, our practice for mindful breathing, the 16 breathing exercises. We know that breathing in, I'm aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I'm aware of my out-breath. This is our basic mindfulness awareness. The second quality or capacity we will develop is concentration. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath. My attention stays with my in-breath from its beginning to the end. Breathing out, I follow my in-breath from its beginning to the end. So the energy of mindfulness is now changing to concentration. If we stay with something long enough, it becomes a concentration. I concentrate my attention on my in-breath and my out-breath. So in a sense, mindfulness, one way of looking at mindfulness is that it too is impermanent. It can transform into concentration. But it's not separate. Mindfulness contains concentration. Concentration contains mindfulness. We know that the two areas of mindfulness are the body and the mind. So the third breathing exercise, breathing in, I'm aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I relax my whole body. So this is just a brief summary of our basic sitting meditation practice. And we also do this practice while walking. Walking mindfully, aware of our body, our footsteps, aware of our breathing. Would you like to practice now? Again, following your breath, concentrating your mind gently. So concentration can be a gentle experience. And we'll listen to another sound of the bell. And now we're aware of concentrating our mind on the breath from the beginning to the end. Is this enjoyable to concentrate in this way? The thoughts will come and we let them. Hello, my thinking. But we come back to the breathing and the concentration. Another energy that we develop with mindfulness and concentration is the energy of insight, of deep understanding, of wisdom. And we can recognize the wisdom in very simple ways. We can recognize understanding in simple ways in our daily life. It can take many forms. It can take the form also of intuition. Well, one example would be that if you are a musician, if you play the guitar, the violin, the flute, the cello, the piano, or any musical instrument, your body is, of course, making the notes, but you are mindful of the sound you're producing. Isn't that true? You hear. You have this awareness of the sound. Or you're a singer. You're aware of how you are singing. So as you continue through time, you will be developing more concentration while playing, more concentration while singing. And then the insight or the wisdom may be expressed as your sensitivity to how you interpret the composition. You'll know whether to slow down, to emphasize a note, to give it a little bit of more embellishment. So there's really a process that we're talking about. Another area in our daily life where we may be able to experience and recognize this prajna, this wisdom, is in our communication. If we're listening to someone, share from their heart, it could be their suffering, their deep experience. We just listen. We listen without thinking. So we're listening with mindfulness, and the longer we listen, we have more and more concentration available in our mind. We're concentrating. But it's a concentration that is open. We're not concentrating in order to know what to say. But after the sharing of perhaps a half hour or longer, you may know that you will have a better sense of how to respond. So this may be a kind of wisdom that manifests from the depths of your consciousness. It's not your mind consciousness exactly telling you what to say, but it's a deep listening where your mind has been concentrated. And then your words may carry with it some kind of understanding, some insight, some wisdom. I've given 2 examples that may not be very apparent, but we invite all of us to look at our practice of these 3 trainings. They're called the 3 basic trainings: mindfulness, concentration, and insight, wisdom, understanding. How does my understanding arise? What conditions are most favorable for me to be able to understand myself and others in my family, in my Sangha? So perhaps if you wish, you may explore this aspect of our basic practice while we are here. We know this is, the understanding is so very much cherished when children have a sense that their parents understand them. It's because their parents know how to listen. Or when teachers understand their students, and students understand their teachers, and when psychotherapists understand their clients. And maybe clients, we can invite them to understand their therapists. Why not? So there are fruits of these 3 trainings of mindfulness, concentration, and insight. And they can nourish our relationships and give us more communication skills. Thai has offered some wonderful mantras which are Dharma door practices. There are many Dharma doors. It is said that the Buddha's teachings offer 84,000 Dharma doors. It's a lot. Thai has offered us over the years many Dharma door practices. And we have a lot of Dharma door practices. In terms of our relationships and loving communication, you may remember the 4 mantras that Thai has offered us. One is, I am here for you. We know that one. Another one is, I know you are there and I am happy. The third one, I see that you suffer, and that is why I am here for you. And the fourth one, I suffer, please help me. If we are in relationship with a practitioner or in our Sangha, or with friends who know the practice well enough, you may want to use these 4 mantras as a sort of a dialogue during difficult moments. For example, one person can say, I am here for you. And the other one will say, I know you are there and I am happy. And then maybe after a week or two, when one or two people have difficulties, they're facing some challenges, the partner can say, "Darling, I see that you suffer. That is why I am here for you." And the partner can answer, "Yes, darling, I do suffer. Please help me." So we can find creative ways of applying these mantras. The joy of being on retreat here is that we're here. We have arrived. We don't have to get into the car and go to work and come home, or go on the metro. We're here. And there are many, many Dharma door practices available for us if we wish to choose a few to practice. Please permit me to read the list that I was able to think of, and it's not exhaustive, but it's a beginning for us if we want to know about the Dharma doors available in our Plum Village tradition. Of course, we have the Dharma door of stopping and listening to the bell. And I think we're all doing that pretty well now. Even if we're running to the meditation hall to not be late for morning sitting, because we can't come in late. But we stop when we hear the bell and we breathe. Thai has also given us many beautiful gathas that are available in the book Present Moment, Wonderful Moment. And we've been practicing with these for 30 or more years. And there's a beautiful gatha for listening to the bell. Listening to the bell, I feel my afflictions begin to dissolve. My mind is calm, my body relaxed. A smile is born on my lips. Following the sound of the bell, my breath guides me back to the safe island of mindfulness. In the garden of my heart, the flower of peace blooms beautifully. So if you like poetry, you can memorize this poem and say it to yourself when you hear the sound of the bell, and you will be fully living in the present moment. With concentration and insight. The gathas contain insight. I mentioned living happily in the present moment is a Dharma door. Coming back to ourself and hearing the bell. Total relaxation. This is a wonderful Dharma door practice that we offer. And touching the earth. I first created the 5 and then the 3 touchings of the earth. And then we have intimate conversations with the Buddha. And now a love letter to Mother Earth. We have the beginning a new practice of communication. We'll learn more about that if you don't know. It's very essential to practice beginning anew with your family, your sangha, at work even. We have climbing the stairs meditation. We don't know if anyone has to climb stairs at the retreat, but you follow your breath as you're going up and down the stairs. We have the practice of a Sangha fair, which we will be offering the second segment. A happiness meeting. We sit together and we just be happy by sharing happy experiences, singing. A second body practice. We have hugging meditation, tea meditation. Tea meditation has developed into the be-in, which is a newer version of tea meditation. It's interbeing together happily also. Bus meditation, telephone meditation, singing together, practice songs before walking meditation, the peace treaty, the peace note, tangerine meditation or fruit meditation. You can use a little raisin if you're very patient, or a banana, as we enjoyed banana meditation in Valencia, Spain recently. The practice of the mantras. There are other mantras such as, this is a happy moment. It's really a happy moment. This retreat is a legendary moment. This is a legendary moment. Another mantra Thai has given. If someone shines light on you and you don't exactly know if it's true what they're saying, you can use the mantra, are you sure? And if the person says, yes, I'm sure, then if still you have difficulty accepting it, you can say this mantra, you may be partly right. Which means you may be partly wrong also, 50-50. We have the second body practice, the shining light practice, shining light letter. We have gardening as a Dharma door, the beautiful happy farm. Writing calligraphies, a Dharma door. So see if you can come up with other Dharma door practices that you are doing, or create new ones, which is even better. Create new ones while you are here or with your Sangha at home. And then email to us, hoping we'll have internet connection here. It goes down whenever there's a rainstorm. Let us enjoy another moment, another present moment, Dharma door, of enjoying our breathing while listening to the bell. Dear friends, other Dharma doors that have particular interest to us at this retreat are the mindfulness trainings. We know the 5 mindfulness trainings begin with the phrase, aware of the suffering. We're mindful of the suffering caused. So we know that suffering has causes. And we'll be led to understand more deeply the causes of the suffering by concentrating on these causes. What are the factors contributing to the causes of suffering? The suffering can manifest in individuals or in society in a collective way, and both really at the same time. Our mindfulness, our concentration on finding the causes will lead to insight on right actions, right understanding, and practices to do, using our intention and determination. So the mindfulness trainings will guide us in our daily life as we apply the three trainings of mindfulness, concentration, and then insight and understanding on how to practice the trainings. We know that the 14 mindfulness trainings of the order of interbeing, the Tipian order, are a bodhisattva way of life. And for us, mindfulness itself is our way of life. Our mindfulness practices are not tools that we use removed from our way of living. We live our whole life with this energy of mindfulness, understanding, love, compassion, and peace. So the mindfulness trainings are the guide for us. And we know as a bodhisattva, the word bodhisattva has the meaning, bodhi means awakened in Sanskrit. Sattva is being. So if you're a bodhisattva, it means you're an awakened being. And a bodhisattva has a great aspiration, like all of you who are members of the order and aspirants and Thai and Shuko and members of the Tipian order in Vietnam. This great aspiration to help, to love, to serve. And you have also the capacity to look deeply and to think without attachment to your views, your ideology. You have non-discrimination, acceptance, and you're able to look deeply to understand, to recognize, accept, embrace, and practice with our own suffering and the suffering around us, so that it's transformed into happiness, to joy and peace. And we hear in the transmission ceremony for the transmission of the 14 mindfulness trainings that you have the aspiration as indestructible as a diamond. Indestructible as a diamond. It will stay with you because you will have friends who are also bodhisattvas on the path supporting you. And this is the Sangha. So bodhisattvas, all of us, we want to understand our mind and to recognize what seeds are in our mind. So permit me to draw the diagram that you have seen Thai draw many times. And I admit my circle will not be as beautiful as Thai's. But we want to look now into the practice of diligence. Because the practice of diligence in terms of recognizing what seeds are in our consciousness and knowing what seeds to water, what seeds not to water, are very, very important for our daily life, to be able to live happily and peacefully and to not create more suffering. We know the top level of our mind is called mind consciousness. And the bottom level of our mind, to speak very simply, is called store consciousness, the alaya. Dear friends, this is a happy moment. This is a legendary moment. practice of watering seeds that are already in our store consciousness. So we have seeds of happiness, joy, love, peace, understanding, wisdom. Many wonderful, wholesome seeds. But we also have seeds of an opposite nature. The seeds of discrimination, anger, hatred, jealousy, fear. Others? Can you think? Ignorance, yeah, ignorance. So, and envy. Okay, so we have also a collection of unwholesome seeds. And through our 5 sense organs, we receive impressions that wake up these seeds that are sleeping in our store consciousness. They are not manifesting. They are in a potential state. So we have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. And each sense organ has its consciousness, its capacity, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. So the practice of diligence is to know and to recognize what seeds are being watered by what we hear people say to us, by what we see, and using all of our sense organs. And we will have a feeling. Our body will let us know very often. We can feel pleasant if a positive seed, wholesome seed has been watered. When we saw Thai come into the meditation hall, many seeds were watered in us. If we hear someone criticize us and blame us and judge us, then other seeds will be watered. And when a seed wakes up, it comes into mind consciousness, and we call it a mental formation. I think many of you know this already. If it's a seed of suffering, we want to invite our seed of mindfulness to manifest as soon as possible and embrace this suffering seed, to help calm it down, to help it transform. So the practice of diligence is also a selective process of knowing which seeds will bring others happiness, what seeds, when watered, will bring others happiness, and what seeds, when watered, will bring others suffering. But the same goes for our own personal practice experience. What seeds in me, when watered, will bring happiness, and what seeds in store consciousness, when watered, will manifest suffering. So when they're in this state, the sleeping state, they're called bijas, which means seed in Sanskrit. When they manifest, when they've received enough watering or stimulation, they are called mental formation. So the practice of right diligence is fourfold, because we have both positive, wholesome, and unwholesome seeds. For the positive seeds that have not yet manifested, we can invite them to manifest. We can invite them up into the upper level of our mind, sometimes called the living room, salle de séjour. We invite them to come up. If they are already manifesting, we can invite them to stay a little bit longer. They're like very wonderful guests. We try to keep them there in our mind consciousness as long as possible, so that at the base, this happiness seed will be strengthened. If we have a seed of suffering that has not yet been watered, has not come up yet, we try not to water it. We try not to think of anything that will make us suffer. So it's really at the level of our own thinking. Sometimes we make ourselves suffer by repeatedly thinking of the past. And we bring up all of the events that have happened already, and we suffer again and again and again. So we don't want to invite the seed of suffering to come up if we're not strong enough to look deeply, understand it, and transform it. Okay? But if it does come up, then we invite mindfulness to embrace it, to recognize this is my suffering, I embrace it, and I can calm this mental formation with my basic practice of mindful breathing, mindful walking, and looking deeply to see how did it happen that this unwholesome seed has manifested now. So we look deeply to understand, and that is the wisdom. The three trainings are mindfulness, concentration, will help us understand. We can invite others to understand our sensitivity to hearing a certain way of communicating. In other words, we ask them to not water our seeds of suffering by their actions or by their way of speaking. And we can also invite our friends to water our happiness seeds. And we will do the same. So it's an interbeing practice, reciprocal. We will not water other people's seeds of suffering if they tell us what it is that makes them suffer. So we have the practice of beginning anew that really helps us with the right diligence. So right diligence can also mean that we continue the practice, but it also has a more specific meaning in terms of understanding our psychology, the seeds in our store consciousness that can be watered without our knowing. And when a seed is watered and we don't know it, it may just pop up because it's received enough watering. And then we know we have the practice to be able to be in this situation or be with the feelings that are there. The Buddha gave a wonderful teaching when he was on Vulture Peak to a young monk called Sona. Well, the Buddha was staying on Vulture Peak, and there was a young monk whom the Buddha had heard do some chanting 1 year after his ordination. And Sona chanted the 16 exercises of mindful breathing very beautifully. And the Buddha loved very much to hear Sona's chanting. And it so happened that after a year or so, the Buddha was in the area where Sona was practicing, and he heard a monk chanting, but the voice was very different. the voice sounded very tired. And the Buddha asked Ananda, who is chanting? And the Buddha was told, oh, it's Venerable Sona. Oh, and the Buddha said, oh, please let Sona come to me. So when the Sona, the young monk, came to the Buddha said, Sona, you were a musician, weren't you, before you ordained a monk? And Sona said, yes, Venerable Lord, I was. The Buddha said, Sona, what did you notice if you... Sona played the sitar. I should mention that. A 12-string sitar. Nowadays we would say to our young monastics, they come, you play the 12-string guitar, don't you? We have guitars now, or 6-string, I'm not sure how many, but in those days it was a 12-string sitar. And the Buddha said, Sona, what do you notice if you didn't make the strings of your sitar tight enough? If the strings were too loose, what did you notice? And Sona said, Venerable Lord, there was no sound. There was no sound that could be called beautiful. It was quite flat, no sound. Then the Buddha said, Sona, what did you notice when you tuned the strings of your sitar very tightly? He said, Venerable Lord, the strings would snap too tight. So Buddha said, Sona, this is a way for us to consider how to practice. We don't want to practice so that we're so tight and tense, ready to snap. Or we don't want to be too lazy and just loll around and forget to go to sitting or walking, just be too relaxed, because that also is not good. He said, Sona, take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Know your limits. And don't overdo and harm yourself with forcing yourself too much. So this was a teaching that the Buddha gave from his insight, and perhaps we can consider this also for our retreat here. Let us keep our strings just right, the middle way. Take care of our health, sleep, come to the practice activities, because this is where we're going to be cultivating our garden of mindfulness, concentration, and insight. And during the week, we'll be learning much more from one another about how these practices are applied, but also new practices. I see that it's now time for walking meditation, so we thank you all for listening. The talk is a little bit over, so please take your time to take care of yourself, and we'll enjoy 3 sounds of the bell, and then there will be some announcements, I believe. So thank you, dear Sangha. We wish all of you a very happy and joyful retreat with us. Thank you.